Everyone, can you see my mouth? Let me take my mask off for you. Oh, look, I got another mask. Let me take that mask off for you. Hey guys, my name's Stuart Brisgel, my partner David Solomon. This is a Rant Network coming to you live yet again. And unfortunately, we're talking about your favorite topic, COVID, masks. We're talking about testing. We're talking about the annoying confusion. And my partner in crime, David, who's wearing his black mask, which I don't know why, we're going to find out. He's going to tell me all about it. David, what do you got to talk about?
All right, folks, let's get rid of this thing for right now. But here's the story. Have you traveled lately? Have you tried to cross a border lately? If you're in the US going somewhere, Canada going somewhere, what a bloody nightmare. And you know what? It's because the freaking governments have no idea still about how to deal with COVID. They don't know how to deal with testing. They don't know how to deal with anything. They're just making a bloody mess, and every day is another shit show. Now, let me give you personal experience. Stuart will give his personal experience. I flew into New York last week. I was in the United States for 71 and a half hours. Remember that number. And the problem I have was that in order for me to go to the United States, Mr. Biden decided that everybody needed an antigen test coming from Canada. Okay, not a big deal, but it's still $69 in my pocket. But I can't get on an airline if I'm not double vaxxed. So I'm double vaxxed and I have to take a test. That cost me 69 bucks. Now, on the way back is all the confusion because the Canadian government wants you to take a PCR test, which is a little more expensive and a little more obtrusive. Excuse me. And the Canadian government says that if you are out of Canada, for more than 72 hours, you need a PCR test, whether you come in by land or by sea or by air. I was under 71 and a half hours, and I frankly just wanted to get home. And I was like, do I need a PCR test? Do I not need a PCR test? Let me tell you that the government has changed its mind so many times that it's made travel, just this part, a pain in the ass. Let alone the bullshit about the airport, Stuart. And that's why I was wearing my mask. You know how interesting? You want to go through the airport in the US and Canada? You gotta wear a mask. You want to get on an airplane? You gotta wear a mask. You want to eat or drink? You can take off your mask briefly and they make your life stupid miserable. But do you know what? No one is standing in line 6 feet apart. That's bull. No one on an airplane is sitting 6 feet apart. I mean, the person I was with, a total freaking stranger that I was with on the plane, she was, and it happened to be twice women. I don't know who these people are. So all this flying and limits and all that, I am so freaking tired. Stuart, you look like you're like a doctor from the 1950s, the way you're dressed. So can you please let's get to the point here. Traveling today, thanks to our wonderful governments, the hypocrisy, the confusion, it's getting to the point where it's exhausting. Stu.
Okay, listen, we all know I have an opinion, and I am
not at all.
I'm not double vaxxed. I'm triple vaxxed. And last night I spent nearly 4 hours on websites. So my in-laws are taking some kids and going to the United Kingdom, another British Commonwealth country like you, Canada. But they got even crazier rules.
Stuart, the UK is the... Don't go there. Just stick to your story, buddy. Come on.
Stick to my story. Okay. So their trip is for 5 days. Just 5 days. From the 18th to the 25th. So they need a PCR non-rapid test 24 hours before. Now, David, we all talk about getting these tests and they're very costly. You're right. That test is running them $150 a person.
Yeah.
Because they need to have that test to be able to load it to software to get a green light to be able to get your seat on British Airways. Now, if for whatever reason they don't have it on time,
bye-bye.
Screw you, buddy. You're not flying. You're off the plane.
You're off the plane.
Now, to get this, you also need to book when you land in London another PCR non-rapid test. And there they want to charge, I think it's 89 pounds, right? I don't know what the conversion rate is, but
About
that's a
100 something.
shitload of money.
It's $100.
Now, you are not allowed to circulate for up to 48 hours because you won't have the results, right? Sounds great. Now, you need another antigen test to be able to board the plane that can be no more than 24 hours. Now, I told you they're leaving on the 18th and they're coming back on the 25th. That means they actually got to get the antigen test on the 24th of December. David, what's the 24th of December?
Yeah, good Christmas Eve. Good luck.
And they have to have the results on the 25th. What's the 25th?
Somebody's birthday.
Okay. Now, if you look at those dates, you're triple vaccinated, right? Or double vaccinated, or only required not to have vaccinations because your age, right? In the UK, it's 17. But to travel, you need all this, right? So you're tested before, which gives you at least 72 hours of actually having the virus, and probably another 72 for producing any real viral load, right? So you're 6 days, as far as I've been told, good. But now you're being PCR'd before, PCR when you get there, and another antigen test to go back. Now, just so you know, if on the way they have one positive, you're stuck quarantined for 2 weeks.
But Stuart, you know what? It's mind-boggling what this. But you know, I'll go even a step further. And I appreciate Risa commenting, stop complying. But you know what? If you don't comply, you can't fly. And that's the problem right now. But here's where I'm also viled. So it was, like I said, I was in New York, and thank you to the US government. If I want a standard PCR test, thank you to the government, it's free. If I get it on time, it's free. By the by, I had a 24 to 48 hour window that I was supposed to get it. I got it 4 days later, despite calling them, despite everything. MedRite, sorry guys, I'm calling you out. You screwed up. And I was lucky to cross the border under 72 hours where I didn't need the test at the end of the day. But what was made me sick was when I was looking for rapid PCR tests, quicker results and whatever. Forget 150, forget 225. How about $389 in New York? $389 for a bloody PCR test that'll take 2 hours. Come on. You know what's happening here? It's killing people from traveling. I need insurance. I need a place to stay. There's a slew of the things that I need to do now to fly. And if I need a rapid PCR test coming home from the United States, and I'm going to be charged $389 US, which converts to like $1 million Canadian. How this form of gouging is unreal. I'm sorry. You know what? We're at the point where traveling is so undesirable. It's ridiculous.
My joke to my in-laws were, why are you going to London? Just go to Vegas. Go to Vegas. It's enough's enough. You, David, you should go to British Columbia. Take in some good sights. I can honestly tell you the stress yesterday for 6 hours was so brutal. And you know what? They haven't even packed their bags yet because they haven't gotten cleared.
I know. Look, and it's the same thing what happened with me. And and this is the stupidity factor. There is such, there's just so much.
They want to exercise control.
We know it's about control, and we're caught between, we could yell and scream and say, no, not me. I won't comply. I have my rights. It does you shit. Frankly, I watch people get thrown off the plane in New York because they had no paperwork.
They're wondering why there's so much anger, violence, and frustration in the air. The airlines are causing this. The governments are bottlenecking people.
The airlines
and the people that are doing the tests are not responsible.
The airlines are being forced by the governments to do this. That's the problem.
But the airlines need to force the government to have a body.
They don't, because they're desperate for money out of the government. The government, the airlines have got, and the cruise lines have all been so brutalized.
Listen, David, I was on a cruise. Let me tell you something. I needed one test before. The cruise line organized my test when I got to the ship. The cruise line organized another test to get off the ship. The cruise
Stuart,
line did everything.
but the
Why
point
don't
I'm
the
trying,
airlines do it?
because the airlines can't. It's a volume business. You can't go. Can you imagine
The
LaGuardia
cruise
or
ships aren't a
O'Hare?
volume business.
Not to the
They
same
board
extent.
3,000 people on and off a ship
I'm
in 3 to 7
sorry.
days.
I'm saying to you, Stuart, I hear what you're saying, and I really don't bother. Okay, and I'm like, sorry, Risa, you're sitting here and you're like, believe me, I'm fighting left, right, and center. I'm sick and tired of this garbage. Okay, I'm not waiting to board my flight, but I got to tell you, I'm pissing in the wind right now. If I'm going to tell the government, and the government has basically told us, you know what, too bad, so sad. We have an app called ArriveCan. ArriveCan is supposed to help you clear everything with your COVID and whatever. It's broken. You know, I said everybody has a cell phone. Okay, everybody has a cell phone, right? No, not everybody has a cell phone, as it turns out. And no, not everybody has the ability to fill out the damn thing. And it's so inconvenient and it's problematic. And they threaten you with a fine. They threaten you with a fine.
What are you telling me? It's a law you have to have a cell phone?
No, it's not a law. If I want to fly into Canada, I must use the app. I have to, you know, and you know what? My in-laws who are seniors, I mean,
Isn't that a disability act that makes that illegal?
Give me a freaking break. You're comparing U.S. to Canada once again. And Risa, I appreciate the
Canada's
insults.
got some pretty good stuff.
No, guys, I'm going to tell you, Risa, I really do appreciate the insults that you're throwing here. I'd like to see how you can fight this one. Anybody can fight this one.
Risa wants to buy a Winnebago and try and cross the Detroit border.
Guys, I've got to tell you something. This is the government has figured out a phenomenal way of catching us and controlling us. And it's really, really challenging. And I have spoken to politicians myself who are friends and said, this is stupid. What you're doing is stupid. And the answers to me was, COVID has created power for the governments. And they're exercising it to the nth degree. And you know something? It's gotten ridiculous. We are, you know, instead of making this exciting for people to come to Canada, tourism is dead. People are dying we want people to come to Canada. We want people to come and travel here. And what is happening at the end, Stuart? We're losing people because we're making it impossible to come across the border, using the excuse we're trying to be safe. If someone is triple vax, and soon it's going to be quadruple vax, and then if you listen to Dr. Fauci, it's quintuple vax, and you look like an idiot. You cannot imagine how much bullshit it is. What are we going to do? Boycott the airlines?
David,
come on.
David, you can't. And you know what? Like I said, I was so stressed out yesterday for 6 hours. I have my wife. I have my mother-in-law. I have my father-in-law. They're elderly, and they're trying to do this trip. And to be brutally honest with you, go to Vegas, I said. Don't bother.
Stuart, I'm in the same situation here where I said to you know what? Why are we going to Florida? Let's just go somewhere in Canada. It is just a pain in the ass. And you know what? The message that we're like, you know, these governments are just not listening. They're not caring. Their excuses, we're trying to protect. We're trying to secure our borders.
Well, Fauci, I think, finally came clean and said, you're going to have to just learn to live.
Listen, Fauci has been finally saying, oh, I didn't think it'd last this long, and I didn't think of this, and I didn't think of that. Okay, I get that. But this is really where we're at, Stuart, today, is that nobody, you know, I mean, unless we all boycott the airlines and we all boycott cruises and all that, ain't gonna change. This government is using the excuse that we have no choice. And in reality, we just, you know what? I'm sorry. I would love to travel to Italy and I'd love to travel to other places. And you know what? The restrictions are so obscene that I have no desire.
There's actually some new things, and we're getting to the close. Airline restrictions on flying. Many airlines will not allow passengers to fly with certain conditions.
Yeah, well,
economy class, deep vein DVT, jet lag, respiratory infection, parasite infestation, altitude sickness,
fear of
flying.
You know what? At the end of the day, it's going to be if you're over 175 pounds. If you're you know what? Screw the airlines. Screw the freaking government. And on that note, screw you if you don't like it. Have yourselves a great day, everybody. We'll talk to you on Wednesday. Goodbye.